course, and I don't, but that's coming. So I'm going to bite the bullet and eventually do something this summer, I think, on implementing strategies, things that I've learned over the past 5 years in real estate and building my business through social media. So let me just start off by telling you guys a little bit about me, so that will be helpful since Lesley knows me, but most of you don't. I'm Christina Swyers. I own Christina Swyers Living, which is a real estate company brokered by eXp Realty in St. Louis. I've been a real estate agent for 5 years. It'll be actually 5 years this month. I hit my 5-year anniversary. And I built my business completely and entirely using social media and referrals. And I'm going to talk about some bullet points today on what I've done specifically to get to this point and what that means. So the first thing I want to just reiterate to you guys is that this takes time. This is not something that will happen overnight ever. It's going to be your day-to-day, your income producing activity, your showing up and being consistent every single day on this channel. And I would preface that along the same lines of how they tell us, that works in real estate, which is, it doesn't happen overnight, same thing. So I would say it took me a good 2 to 3 years of doing this and being consistent for it to just really see that payoff. And about that 3rd year is where I saw that transitional payoff and that consistency payoff, just showing up. So my platforms of choice, so since we're talking about social media, my platforms of choice are Facebook and Instagram. I'm also on LinkedIn. I've recently started a TikTok channel, and I use YouTube. So I funnel all my stuff onto YouTube. Now, that could be a lot and it could be overwhelming for people. So don't feel like you have to do it all, but I really feel like you should choose 2 to 3 platforms to consistently repurpose your content on. Meaning, if I'm posting something on Facebook, more than likely I'm also going to post it on Instagram. Not every time, but more than likely. And it's easy to use Facebook and Instagram because they're connected. Facebook owns Instagram, and I don't know if you knew that. But also, I feel like it's good to have a mix between that and using something like a search engine, like YouTube, Google, Pinterest is a really good one, because those are actually not social platforms. Those are search engines, just like when you Google something. So you'll see a lot of people that will go and have pins on Pinterest. Pinterest is a good one for blogs. If you can use that, what that will do is it will increase traffic to you. So the first thing I want you guys to do is Google yourself and Google your business. Tell me what is going to come up on that first page. Are people seeing your videos? Is your Facebook page listed on there? Can they click on your Facebook business page to vet you? Is your Zillow account on there? Like, what is coming up on that very first page of Google? Because that will tell you what you've been doing and where you've been, and that will tell other people the same. So first and foremost, Google yourself. I know that's crazy, but it really is important because that's where the algorithms show you where you're actually showing up, where people are clicking and where your traffic is being driven and directed. So can't show up overnight and expect this to work. You've got to be consistent. You have got to be consistently posting content, and you have to diversify your content. What I mean by that is coming up with thoughtful posts, becoming a really good copywriter and caption writer. A lot of times the things that I will post on Facebook or Instagram can take me hours to write. It's not something that is just sat down and I'm like, da-da-da-da, done. It's something that I'm well thought out. I think of the idea and I attach that to a photo or to whatever it is I want to talk about. Now, the photo that you're posting doesn't automatically have to deal with whatever you're talking about either. You could post a picture, since we're talking about real estate, of a house, but be talking about something completely different. Once you gain a following, your followers will understand where you're going with that, and they'll follow you no matter what you're posting. Now, we need to see your face. I don't want to go to your feed and not ever see a picture of you. You are the face of your brand. You are the brand, so you need to be shown. And not always, and I'm not always saying, take 5 million selfies and use those pictures, but use a good mix of your face and use a good mix of other content to pull from. So I have a content library, and that consists of a couple things. So this is a really good tip. Because your brand is so important and your brand is just everything in your business, I highly recommend you getting something done called branding photography. I get this done 4 times a year. So every season, I pay a local photographer to do branding on what I feel like shows me in my best light. Now, how did I come to that determination? It is, who am I trying to attract? The clientele base, right? Because if you're speaking to everyone, you're speaking to no one. So figure out your top 3 clients. My top 3 clients are families that want to be in good subdivisions and good schools, because I'm a mom and I have 3 kids. So that resonates with me. That's my clientele base. Investors, and then single moms and first-time home buyers. More single moms that are home for first-time home buyers. So those are my top 3 clients. So those are the people that I'm trying to speak to. So when I'm doing branding photography, for me, something with a session would look like, maybe I'm in a new construction home and I'm showcasing that, or I'm at home with my kids snuggled around me, or I'm at a coffee shop and I'm working, because I work for a cloud-based brokerage. So my company is always on the go, and I work, in a coffee shop. I've seen agents do branding photography sessions in their car, in the carpool line. I've written offers in the carpool line before. So, I mean, whatever is going to make you look your unique self, raw and real, like authentic, be that. And the photographer that you choose should be able to show that through photos. That is super powerful, because you now will have a content library of photos of yourself in a professional light, but it depicts a story. Photos depict a story. That's why people love Instagram, because it's all the photos, but it shows the story. It's just different. So having that in your library and having an arsenal of photos that you can go to and pull from at any time, and you can use those at any time. I mean, I've used stuff from a year ago still. And then you can take that content and use it on so many different channels to repurpose and to rewrite things on. Canva is a huge thing. I'm a huge Canva supporter, canva.com, C-A-N-V-A. I think I can show you guys the screen share here. I'm going to show you. Where is the Canva? Hold on a second. Here we go. So Canva is here, and you can go, and as you can see, your designs can be made. You can make a Facebook post. You can put an Instagram post. I mean, you can do anything on here. So some of my designs were this here. Here was one that I did. Here's some content. And then this was just a homeowner checklist I recently posted because of what we're dealing with COVID-19. And then I reiterated this and changed it and said, from your favorite realtor, Christina. So stuff like this are things that I'm going to be using to repurpose, and I can put photos on there, or I can put any kind of graphics that I want to create, basically, if that makes sense.
How often would you recommend that they're posting?
Every day. If you are just starting out, you need to be posting 1 to 2 times a day, and it needs to be not all business, but not all personal. I feel like you have to have a good mix of yourself and your business. Now, the business page is required, and we'll go here and we'll talk about this just a little bit here. So the business page here is required because you have to be able to have a place for your people to go and write reviews, which are super powerful. I highly recommend that. The top 3 places I tell my clientele base to write reviews for me, number 1 is my Facebook business page, because I have over 10,000 followers on my page, and this is super, super powerful. Social proof is validating you. People are coming here just like Google, because when you Google me, I think it's like number 2 or number 3, my Facebook business page pops up. If somebody Googles Christina Swyers Living, this comes up, which is what I want to come up. I want them to be able to see actual clients I've worked with that have left reviews for me. Zillow, I always use Zillow just because Zillow is king and we have to. Whether or not you support Zillow or not, I've never bought a lead in my life from Zillow, but if you do, I still think it's important to have your reviews there because the consumer is there. And then Google. Absolutely get a Google business account and make sure you're on there. Oh my gosh, I can't even begin, because Google will send you updates and email you the analytics on where the traffic is going. If somebody's clicking on your page, if they're going to Facebook, if they're going to your website, where are they going, right? Super, super important. I feel like we're kind of going back and forth, but since we're on this page here, we'll just talk about this. So this is my Facebook business page. On the left, you can see that somebody can go, make sure that your account is set up as a business or a service when you're going in. Make sure you can edit your page info here. Make sure that that's done there. You want to make sure your bio is filled out. You want to make sure that people can come here and they can look. You want to make sure you have a place for all your videos. Yes, I said video. You have to be doing video. We'll talk about that more. I've done quite a few videos over the years, and I repurpose that content here, and I also post it on my YouTube channel. So on the left here, you'll see groups. Recently, I did this, and it was an experiment that ended up really, really well. And I don't know why it's not pulling up. Oh, here it goes. So I started this group called St. Louis Curbside Restaurants. It's got almost 3,000 members now. Which isn't a whole lot, but in my local community, that's a lot. The reason that this is important is because I actually created the group and I tied it to my business page. Now you can use this to create any type of group. I used it for the Curbside Restaurant group because this is helping my local community right now. You could do this for anything. You could do it for clothes. You could do it for a mom group, a dad group, a pet group, a support group. You could do any type of group. But I feel like adminning a group, I also admin this Relocating to Missouri group, is really, really important for you so people can see your visibility. Because when people go into my group here, as you can see on the right-hand side, since I'm the admin, it says Christina Swyers Living. Somebody can actually call me right here from this group. Or they could go to my business page, they could click on this, and it'll take them straight to my business page, and they'll like my business page, and they'll say, oh, she moderates this group. She's the admin of the group. She's also a real estate agent. Maybe I need to sell my house. I mean, you seriously never know. So don't ever underestimate what that can do for you. But having your business page. Another thing I want to say is I had a logo made here, super inexpensive. You can go on Fiverr, F-I-V-B-R, F-I-V.
It's FIVERR.com.
Thank you. My husband works with me and he uses this a lot. I'm not on it as much, but you can find people to make logos for you, very inexpensive. I feel like you should have something. This is my tagline. And also those professional photos, I should be able to see your face here on your Facebook business page, and that should be the same. Here's my Instagram. You should be able to see my face. It should be recognized when, oh, there's that girl with the blonde hair, or oh, there's that girl with the red lipstick, or whatever it is you're using. It should be consistent on multiple channels. People should be able to see you on multiple channels and be able to recognize you. It shouldn't be you with like 5 other people in the picture. It should be a picture of you, and I should be able to clearly see your face professionally, not a selfie. That's big for branding and for recognition. All right, let's talk a little bit about, I want to make sure I'm not missing anything here. We talked about Googling. One of the things that you can also do is pay a service or a VA to help you with blogging, SEO. We talked about Pinterest and setting up your YouTube channel and just creating this logo, all on Fiverr. You can pay somebody for pennies on the dollar to do all these things for you. And I highly recommend you do that because, again, that's going to only drive and direct more traffic to you. So the goal here is for people to come and be able to find you, and you become recognizable via multiple channels. That is what's going to help increase your influence and increase you as, like I like to call it, being the digital mayor of your town. You're the one that people want to come to. You're the expert. You're the local expert in real estate. And when they can connect with you in multiple ways and they can see that, it's very, very powerful. So let's talk about a little bit about switching gears here on Instagram. I'm going to pull up my Instagram now. When you see Instagram on a desktop like you're looking at right now, this looks very different than on the phone. Like you can't see my emojis. Like right here where it says US, that's actually a flag, the American flag. So I don't know why it doesn't show up on the desktop, but it looks different. This is my personal page, And I know people go back and forth. I also have a business page. Christina Swyers Living is a business page. I have almost 5,000 followers on that page, but I feel like I show up more here. So you kind of have to figure what is more important to you to show up. Do you want to be all business? Where are your people going to connect with you from? You need to make sure this bio here is very, very, very well written. Spend a lot of time here. Make sure your name is in the title somehow. Mine is The Real Christina Swyers, or if your business is Christina Swyers Living, make sure your name is there. People will be able to eventually, very soon, in the very soon future, say, Alexa, call, here she goes in the background, call the best real estate agent in St. Louis, or call Christina Swyers. And they'll be able to do that from Instagram. And so you want to make sure your name here is not Tiny Tim _500 realtor, right? We want to make sure it's your name. And really the only reason mine is The Real Christina Swyers is because someone hacked me 2.5 years ago and took my Christina Swyers page and I couldn't get it back. So I had to come up with some other combination of my name because there's not a lot of Christina Swyers out there, but just make sure your name's here. You can always change this first page here where it says Christina Swyers, Missouri Realtor. This is searchable in Instagram. Somebody could come down to the search tab and they could search Mo Realtor and I'll pull up either in top or most recent. And if you're posting tons of stuff, you're going to pull up as top. Now, I know a lot of people that will literally search for hashtag St. Louis Realtor or wherever city you are, and they'll be like, oh, that person, I have a referral. They are posting constantly. They have content. I'm going to reach out to them. So it's all an algorithm and a numbers game here. So I use hashtags here, top 3% US Realtor, #1 social media agent in St. Louis. Make sure you don't lie. Make sure you're truthful with whatever you're saying. I was named that in 2019. I use hashtag St. Louis. And so my goal here is to helping families find home and teaching realtors to do it better because I do mentor and teach agents how to use social media into their business. So they can also click here. Since you only get one searchable link on Instagram, I highly recommend it be either this link tree or Milkshake. Milkshake is another one that you can use. They're both free platforms. And when you click this link, this pulls up. And what this is going to direct my traffic to wherever it is. If I'm on my stories and I'm saying, hey, I started this new group on Facebook. We have tons of like restaurants that are available now for you to grab something to eat. Go into my bio, click the link in my bio, and it'll search the group here, St. Louis Curbside Restaurants. That'll take you straight to my Facebook group, right? When they click on that, it takes them straight to my St. Louis Curbside group. So this is super important because this way it can give you multiple links to find what you're looking for. These are questions that people ask me. How do I search for houses? If they want to read my reviews on Facebook, they want to learn from me. Here, schedule a call to talk about my brokerage. This is cool. You could use this for anything though. This is your Calendly. This is your calendar. So somebody can literally reach out to you about that. I thought that was pretty cool to put that on there. And then people ask me a lot, where did you go to real estate school? So I put that on there because I get asked that a lot. So whatever people are asking you, whatever content you feel like is important for your clientele base or whoever you're trying to, help, you could have like your guide, like your home buyer guide on here, or your home seller guide, or the top 10 tips to decluttering your house, or whatever. Say, hey, go click the link in my bio. So that's all right there. Super, super cool. Now, again, when you're coming to your page, and my page, again, is about me, my family, my kids, and real estate. So I'm constantly posting about being a mom. So you'll see me there. You'll see me doing, here's something I created in Canva here, the completely virtual experience. And so you see my face a lot. You see personality, you see houses, you want to make sure, and then you see videos. So video is so, so important. IGTV is the new thing. YouTube is still incredibly powerful. It's almost going to be bigger than Google. People will actually start using YouTube more than they will be using Google in the future. So having your videos repurposed on multiple channels is very, very, very important. And whatever it is that you're talking about that you want to get out there, this is just more exposure. Studies have proven that people will watch a video and they get 30 times more views than, or 3 times more views than a post ever will. If you're just going to write a post without a picture also, that's not very good because you're not going to get as much viewability The algorithm is going to push that down. So you've got to pay to play. So using posts, using Instagram, and then using stories. I highly recommend, if you're not using stories, to get on stories. I'm very, very active. Come follow me and just see what I'm doing on there. I'm very active. I'm showing your Facebook. Think of your Facebook as like your front yard, and Instagram is your backyard, and your stories is inside the house, like what's actually going on inside the house. It's your reality TV show. It's a sneak peek into your life so people can get to know you and see if they want to work with you, because connections all start with knowing you first, liking you second, and then trusting you third. So the way that they get to do that is by opening the door and letting them into your house and see what's actually going on in there.
I'm going to stop you for just a second because I want that to resonate with everybody. I know David and I have had this conversation with multiple people. This is how people are finding you. This is what people are, this is their first impression of you. So if it's a bunch of posts that are super political or just not very business, I don't know how to put that in a better term, but like super drunk pictures, different things like that. It's like, guys, you're killing yourself. You are absolutely killing yourself. And I don't know how many times we've had that conversation, and it just keeps reappearing over and over. And I'm like, it fell on deaf ears. So
I agree with that. I don't post about politics. Sometimes I'll post controversial things, but usually never, ever, ever will you see me posting about politics or religion. I just stay away from those things. And on my page also about vaccinations, since I'm a mom, and that's a huge hot topic. Those are things that are left for a group. Those are things that are left behind closed doors. Those are things that you can start conversations about. But I don't think those are things that you should literally post on your wall and keep them there permanently, because somebody will say, hey, I want to work with this person. And then they're like, I'm going to go look them up I'm going to Google them. And then maybe a post that you made a year ago that you don't even remember about comes up about who you voted for the president. And then they're like totally turned off because maybe they're not. And people can argue that, oh, well, maybe you don't want to work with those people anyway. But I would say the latter. I would say I would rather be Switzerland and be neutral and gain clients just naturally anyway, if we're going to resonate. It has having nothing to do with our religious beliefs or our political beliefs. So I think that's right. I think that is, personally, I do not talk about those things. I just don't. Now, there are a lot of agents that do, because they feel like, they have that stance and they have people that do resonate with them, but they're alienating themselves from a whole slew of clientele that are now no longer going to work with them based on their opinion. So it's, you know what I mean? Like, you've got to tread lightly. All right. Let's talk a little bit about video. No, let's talk a lot about video and why video is so important. Video is super powerful. So my experience with video, I started on Facebook Live about 2.5 years ago. I didn't know what I was going to talk about. I was super nervous. I thought people were going to make fun of me. I cared a lot what others thought of me. And over the years, it's kind of went by the wayside. But I started on Facebook Lives sharing things I learned in personal development from books I read, because I didn't know what to share about. I didn't feel like I was a local expert yet, in real estate. And I didn't know if people would take me seriously. So I just started showing up, and then I started getting a fan base, and people were message me and they're like, I love your positivity. Thank you so much. I'm going to go read that book, like my recommendations. And people are watching. Let me tell you something. Even if somebody is never commenting, liking, messaging you, you have hundreds, maybe thousands of followers. If you can go on your Facebook business page, you have to do this from the desktop and go under friends. And there's a drop down that you can click and it'll show followers. It'll show you people that are following you that aren't friends with you. I looked the other day, I have almost 1,000 people that are following me that I'm not friends with. It's crazy. I get a lot of friend requests and I don't accept them all, but people are following you even if they're not friends with you. Some people just like what you have to say and they'll come and follow you no matter what it is you're posting. But video is super powerful. So I went from doing that Facebook Lives to, I actually did the American Dream TV show because I felt like I needed help on getting myself out there professionally. So doing the show really, really helped me. And I'm not saying that you have to do this, but hiring a videographer and putting out content, and I'm going to give you some ideas on things that I do that I feel like would be really, really successful for you in your town. So doing video, interviewing people in your community. Number one, if you can find local business owners and interview them, literally you are like two people, you're interviewing them. It has nothing to do with real estate. And people will say, why are you doing that? Because it removes the pressure to talk about real estate. It positions you as a local expert, and it helps a local business. And then when you go to repurpose those videos and that content, all of their traffic now sees you. It is very, very, very important, because when they're watching those videos, if you're running any type of ads, they are dumping themselves into your custom audience on Facebook and Instagram, and they will then see every video. So when they're scrolling their feed, guess who they're going to see? You. Because now you paid to play, and Facebook is playing along with that, and Instagram is playing along with that for you. So it's a really good way to gain organic traffic. Very, very good way to build your sphere of influence online. So interviewing local business owners is number one. The second one I would do, doing things in your community, developments, new developments. Maybe they're putting an IKEA up. That's a big deal in a lot of cities. You know what I mean? IKEA only goes to certain cities. Maybe they're doing, in my city, they're doing something called the Foundry, which is like shops, restaurants, bars, and then they have a whole thing in the middle of like bocce ball and like all this stuff in the city. And they bulldozed a bunch of abandoned buildings to create it. So it's a big buzz in my city. So something like that, highlighting, you could go down there, highlight what this is going to do, what this means for the community, what it is, and then how that's going to affect property values, why somebody would want to buy a house near there. What, you know what I mean? You can always spin real estate into it without feeling salesy and slimy and scummy. Trust me, if you're doing these things, this is positioning you as a local expert. So any kind of new developments, new projects, up and coming neighborhood, you could do a video. You could, God, this would take you a year. Go and do a video on every single neighborhood or subdivision that's really important in your town. Why people want to move there, how the property values are, what are the schools like, what do the people that live there do, what about the parks, what about the local amenities, why would somebody want to live in this neighborhood? You could do a video on those. That would take you a year. In my city, I don't know about yours, but that would take me a year to do that. I mean, maybe longer. I mean, you have an endless amount of content at your fingertips. You just have to utilize it. And then one of my favorites that I'm going to actually start doing, a friend of mine is really good at this, and this is very, very powerful for referrals especially, is on YouTube doing why to move to my city, why to move to Wichita, why would somebody move to St. Louis, and doing a video on that and putting that on YouTube and using the proper hashtags will drive people to you that are relocating from other cities. They're going to look you up and they're going to be like, oh, well, this person showed me this, this, and this about the town. I'm going to call them because they're the local expert. They'll know. I don't know the town. I'm not from there. This person knows. So many people, so many real estate agents get business off of doing this. So that is huge. Another thing I want to mention is we're talking about hashtags, and we'll talk about that. Don't use an auto poster. Don't use Hootsuite or some of these auto posting. Use something called Plan or Planoly to plan out your content. So once a month, I do a brain dump on the content I want to do. I block out weeks and things I want to post about. And then I use a plan app to put those in. I literally print off a calendar and I put it on there. And then I put what I want on the plan app. And then it will, you can do a month's worth of content all in one day. But you don't have to. Now, I will still be posting raw content in and out. It's not every day. But what that calendar will do and what plan will do is help me get my thoughts on paper, figure out what I want to post about in regards to real estate, and then all the personal stuff I want to post about will be intertwined in the other days. So then I'm not overwhelmed. I'm not stressed. I don't know what to post about. It's well thought out, if that makes sense. So I just wanted to say that. Let's talk a little bit about video and repurposing your content. So my husband works with me and he runs an ad agency. repurposes all my content. Now, I haven't used it so much for lead gen, but you can, and he does help agents do this, but he uses my content and does ad spend for branding. So instead of farming a neighborhood with your mailers, he's farming the people that I want him to farm online. One of the ways he does this is by using the program called Remine, because he can download seller data and it gives a low, medium, and high sell score. And he can upload that data into Facebook, create a custom audience, and brand my ads, my videos, my pictures, my posts to those people, and then they'll start seeing it online. It's a very effective way to get the mass amount of people without you actually sending stuff in the mail. I still think there's value. I farm my neighborhood. I don't farm outside my neighborhood in the mail, but I think creating things that are going to add value to your neighborhood are really important instead of saying just sold, just listed. You need to be specific. Like one I recently put was, hey, this is me, a picture of me and my family. Hey, I live here. I love living here. I know about the neighborhood. If you want to grab a cup of coffee, you know, stuff like that is how I'm farming my neighborhood. I'm also going to do things like a paper shredder event for people to come to my house with a paper shredder. I've seen people do a dumpster to dump all their crap. They ordered 2 dumpsters for their neighborhood. That brought people. You can do like in the summer, like a snow cone truck. In the winter or in the fall, you can do like pumpkins. Aldi's has super cheap pumpkins. They're like $1. You can come and do painting with pumpkins. Like those are the types of things I do in my neighborhood that I like to help increase my presence and farm with in the mail. So online, it's just different. Online, they're seeing your videos, they're seeing your content, they're driving and directing traffic to your business page. And then once they click on that, you've got them, because they're gonna see everything that you're posting. So that's how I use ad spend. I think we have a question. Can someone please comment the planning app? Plan, P-L-A-N-N. Planoly is another one too. I've never used that one, but I hear people like that one. So that's pretty much it. Hashtags are super important to use, more so on Instagram than Facebook. Facebook really isn't used for hashtags a whole lot. It's usually Instagram, and I post them in the comments now. When you do, I use my notes, like a notepad on my phone, and I have about 10 to 15 hashtags I want to use for that particular post. I copy them and I post them in my message in Instagram, but you have to do it within like 2 to 3 seconds after posting. So the algorithm will not show it to people. You have to post it very, very quickly. You can't go back an hour later and then post your hashtags. It will be pointless there. Is there anything specific, Lesley, that I haven't touched on that you want me to talk about? Anything you can think of?
I've got a question on hashtags. So
Okay.
how do you decide what you're going to use? I mean, is there a way to find out like which ones get more clicks, which ones have more traction?
Follow people that already have a huge following that are doing what you do and do what they do. So find hashtags that also have lots of following. When you type in a hashtag, like hashtag St. Louis Realtor, when I pull that up, that has thousands of views. You can also, because hashtags are searchable, if you don't know which ones are, take 20 minutes out of your day or an hour out of your day and go into Instagram and go into the search tab and search the hashtags that you want to use that are going to drive and direct traffic to you. Like for me, when I'm posting, for instance, about my kids, if it's a picture about my kids, I post hashtag St. Louis Realtor, hashtag St. Louis, but I also post some popular local hashtags. 314 parent, 314 is our area code here. That's a huge hashtag here. It could be, St. Louis mamas. Like I find the ones where I want to bring my clientele base, right? Because I want moms to follow me. I want moms to follow me because they're my number one client. Families are. And I almost always work with the wife and not the husband, because they're almost always the decision maker. If I go back and look at all the clients I closed last year that were families, I almost always, 9 times out of 10, had more communication with the wife than I did with the husband. But they usually found me. Another thing that's really important is being very active in your groups. I wanted to touch on this because I've had somebody come to my business page and say, I went into the mom group and I typed in realtor and I saw you were in every single post. So either somebody was tagging me or I was commenting in the post, and then they came to my business page, vetted me out and said, hey, I'd like to hire you as my agent because of that. It is very, very powerful to be in groups, and especially having other people that you're working with as time goes on, vetting you. Very, there's nothing more powerful than a review from another client or somebody else that's used you, especially in those groups, because secretly people are going in there and searching that. You can search anything in a group. So, but the hashtags, yes.
To get your reviews, how are you asking people to review you and when?
Closings. At the closing table, I ask them to write a review for me. I don't wait a week. People forget. I almost always try to take a photo, which we can't do that now because of what we're dealing with. But I always try to get some sort of intimate with them at either at the house or at the title company, obviously with their permission. But my clients know that they usually almost always found me on social media, and they see how active I am in posting. They know I'm going to repost something. So it's not a surprise for me to ask for that. You know, my clientele is almost groomed to know I'm going to ask them for that. And they have no problem giving it either. I think if you give that level of service, people will give you your review that you really do deserve. But that's worth its weight in gold, a review and somebody vetting you online.
Absolutely. So Jocelyn is asking, can you put the hashtags in the actual post, or does it need to be in the comments on IG?
This is things that we go back and forth. I see them both. I see people putting them. People put 5 dots and then they put hashtags. I've done that. I've also put them lately over the last several months, I've been putting them in the comments. This is up in the air. I don't really know what I feel like yet works better. But that's something I am really, really still trying to figure out too. I don't know. I don't know what works better, to tell you the truth. I would just test and try it out. I've been putting them in the comments, and I don't know if it's been working better. I used to put them in the posts though. So I just feel like don't have like 100. You can't put like 100 in there. Just go with like the top 10 that are going to get you the most engagement. But be careful on Instagram too, because when you're posting things that are really vague, those don't really help. Like if you're just going to post hashtag entrepreneur, you might get a bunch of spam. Creating your own, I know a lot of people create their own hashtag, and that is really cool because then that's a searchable hashtag, and then you're branding yourself too. So that's something you may want to look at, is creating your own hashtag that pertains to you, because then no one else will have that.
Makes good sense.
Yeah. Any other questions? What else? I know we have to have more.
And David's going to go through and show some of the things that we're using. And so you can kind of chime in on that. You know, yeah. We've been making a lot of video content lately, a lot more than we ever have, because I hate it.
I know.
You know, it's one of those things though that I've watched you do a ton of it. I've watched Tina Call do a ton of it. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, I need to be doing this, and I know I do. And to me, yeah. The climate of what's going on right now, it's even more important. And so that was kind of the catalyst of me going, all right, David, let's get into the game.
Yeah, and I can share. I just ordered a ring light. It was like $85 on. I got a fancy one. You can get any kind of ring light that you want, but have good lighting, good background. You can do videos on all type of stuff with your phone. I got a gimbal and a phone stabilizer for my phone, because now I'm doing virtual showings in houses, but you can use that for anything too. And if your light ring or ring light has like a stand, you can prop your phone on it and adjust the height. You can do it all straight from your house. And this could be done very inexpensively. There's tons of training out there that will show you how to use video from your home using your phone, you know, like not using any fancy camera equipment. These phones
Right.
are really smart these days, so very
Yeah.
helpful.
So Kim is asking where you got your ring light from.
Amazon. I can send you the link, Leslie, and you can post it in
You want to
there.
put it in the comments?
Yeah, let me
Okay.
grab it.
And we'll have David kind of jump in here at this point and just go through some of the things that we have bought. I think 99% of everything has come from Amazon. Is that right, David?
Yeah.
I got to unmute you.
Oh.
The only time I get to mute my husband.
Yeah, so how's everybody doing? Yeah, Lesley and I have been doing a lot more video content, and I knew that if we were going to do that, we couldn't just use our phone like this and walk around, because it is very shaky and it doesn't give you a quality video. So some of the things that I use, I'm going to go through this real quick, but the first thing I bought, and I bought it a long time ago, it's called well, it's actually Chinese. It's Yun 4, Smooth 4. Okay. This was the first gimbal that I bought, and essentially all it's designed to do is to hold your camera, and then it keeps it very smooth, and it'll rotate. Now this one actually has a lot of different features, so it can get a little more technical, and it was good, but I always had a problem with it being just a little bit cockeyed like this, and not that bad, but I mean, it was never level. And Lesley knows that I'm super OCD about stuff, and if it's not level, that really bothers me. So eventually I just got, and it's really big too. It's just a large, unit. And then we have the tripod that goes with it. Okay. So it's a good gimbal, and it works. It's essentially like $100. If you do use your iPhone, it'll balance properly in here. But if you use one of the lenses that I'm getting ready to show you, you have to buy basically a counterbalance weight, and this is about 90 grams. And this counterbalance weight goes on this side over here to balance out the size of that lens. Okay. So that's the first gimbal that I tried, and it's a good gimbal. I like it, but again, it's big, it's heavy, it's got a whole bunch of features that honestly we really don't need. So this is the second gimbal that I bought. It's a much smaller gimbal, and it's called the DJI Osmo 3 Mobile 3. So the DJI Osmo Mobile 3, and it's $95.20. If you go to shopmoment.com, they've actually got the majority of the things you need, and I'm going to go over each one of these things and where to buy them. But essentially it just opens up like this. You put your phone in, you balance it, and away you go. Now, the cool thing about the Osmo 3 is this one, you don't need the counterbalance weight if you're going to use the lens. It slides far enough inside the cradle that it'll balance out. It is a little bit more difficult to balance, but it works. So here's what comes with the Osmo 3, and honestly, guys, I would recommend this one. The other one, again, it's just big. It's got a whole bunch of features we don't need. So Osmo 3, and this goes for $95.20. Okay. What it comes with your charging cable, which actually it's like a Samsung charging cable. So it has a different type. It's not the micro USB. It comes with this bag, so that way you can store it, and that's great. Let's see, what else does it come with? That's pretty much it. What I had to buy, I did have to buy a tripod. Okay, the tripod is real handy. Obviously, if you want to do some videoing at your desk, the tripod goes for $19, and I bought that on Amazon. Okay, they don't have that at shopmoment.com. And Moment is actually the name of the lenses that we bought. So this also, I bought this case because this right here is not, it's not great for carrying around your gimbal, and you don't want it to be ruined. So the nice thing is this is a foam insert, you know, it comes like this, and the Mobile 3 goes right here, your tripod goes here, and then you can put your lens right here, and then it has some stuff, you know, you can put your cables and things like that. So this is a really good case, and it's let's see, the case is, it's called a Samtree Travel Hard Case for Osmo 3, and it's $17.99, and I got that on Amazon as well. So Samtree, Samtree travel hard case. That's the best one I found, and it holds exactly what we need. So let's talk about what you need as far as lenses, and the reason I bought the lenses. Okay, you can just get the Osmo 3 and you can take great video with just your phone. Okay, you don't need to get these lenses. However, the wide angle lens is going to, especially if you're touring houses, the wide angle lens is very important because it really just gives you a much broader view. And whether you're shooting vertical or horizontal, it's still going to look a lot better. The nice thing about the wide angle lens from Moment is it doesn't have a lot of distortion. They have a fisheye lens, but you don't want that. Okay, this wide angle lens that I'm talking about is an 18mm wide angle lens, and it comes with this is the 18mm wide angle lens, and it's very high quality. It's heavy. It's about 80 grams, and it's a very nice lens, very high quality. The lens goes for, and it's called the wide 18mm lens by Moment, and it's $95.99, and you can buy that at Shop Moment. Okay, it comes with this cap, and this basically, you know, protects the front, but it didn't come with anything to protect the back lens, which is this little guy. So I went on moment.com and I found this, and it basically attaches to the back of this and then straps around, and that's like let's see, that is $9.99. I don't know why it doesn't come like that to begin with, but they decided to, you know, accessorize after the fact. So get those so that way you protect your lens. So here's the thing, how does this attach to your phone, right? Well, you have to buy a case that is designed for the actual lens itself. Okay, so when he's saying we can buy at Shop Moment, yeah, it's shopmoment.com, all one word. Okay, so you have to buy a case that actually will allow you to mount your lens. So this goes here, and then you twist, and now it's on. Actually, it'd be this way. Okay, and that's it. So obviously, you can see it's very heavy. So when you balance it in your gimbal, it's you're gonna have to move it one way or the other. Balancing is a little tricky at first, but then you start to get the hang of it. But then off you go. I have an iPhone, so you know the iPhone goes in here. It works great. Whether it's Samsung or whether it's an iPhone, it doesn't really matter. There's a couple of different, obviously you're going to have to find a case that goes with your phone, and you can also get those cases at shopmoment.com. Okay. Let's talk about what this all comes with. Again, it came with the cap, and it also comes with this little carrying case. Okay. I did buy another lens, and it's a telephoto lens, and this really, honestly, we're probably not going to use this for doing real estate and stuff, but what I bought it for is basically when I go to a concert, I want to take a good picture. Why not? It's $95, so who cares? I just bought it just in case we need to take some telephoto stuff. But all of you parents out there that want to watch their kids do sports and stuff like that, the telephoto lens will come in real handy. You've already got it all there, so why not? Yeah. Let's see. Another thing, sound. Sound is super important. Okay. So obviously we want quality video. We need it nice and smooth. We need good wide angle, but we also need good sound. So I bought this. This is called the Rode Video Mic. It's 98 bucks. And essentially it has a, you know, your cable. It's basically a earphone jack, just like headphones, you know. And then this will go to your phone, okay? Obviously, I think Samsung users, you guys are lucky. You have this little guy here. It'll just go right in. iPhone users, we have to have it's the eighth inch lightning adapter, and then it'll go to this, okay? So if you're an iPhone user, you have to have that. But this is high quality. Let's see, this was, again, $98. There is this great big fluffy thing. It's called a dead cat. And what that fluffy thing is, it kind of looks like a little cat. And you slip it over this, and when you're in the wind, when you're outside, it will completely cut down on that wind noise. And that was 15 bucks, okay? And
We knew we
again,
needed that, like, we knew we needed that right after the very first one that we went and did, because I think every video we've had a crap ton of wind.
Well, you know, when you do a video, I mean, when we do like a video tour, you always start outside in front of the house. And if the wind, and here we are in Wichita, it's always windy. So yeah, this is a great thing to have, but you do have to have that wind deadening, sound deadening. It's called a dead cat. There you go. Let's see. I want to make sure I went over everything. Rear lens cap, yeah. Dead cat. Oh, the hot shoe adapter. There is an adapter that goes. So basically, on your gimbal, it's going to go here, right? And I've got the adapter, but it's coming. I actually ordered it on Amazon. It isn't quite here yet. But if you want to DIY it, get you a nice strong rubber band and wrap it around. And you can see it's basically got this right here. The rubber band will hold it. This is very light. Okay, so in the meantime, you can just do that. But if you want the ring hot shoe adapter, it's $20. Okay, so what's the bottom line? You can, for $100, you can shoot with your phone. Okay, very nice, smooth videos with this gimbal. Okay, if you want to accessorize and you want to, you know, up the video quality and the sound quality, you're looking at another $100 for a lens, and you're looking at $100 for a microphone and some of the things that come with it. Oh yeah, and you will have to have a new case for your phone. And once I got this case, I basically threw out my other one and I just use this. This case I think is around 50 bucks, and they sell these on shopmoment.com. Okay, and I think that's it. Is there any questions?
Christina, do you have all those gadgets?
I have the gimbal, and I posted I have a lens that I just got too. I don't have a wind reducing mic yet. I was going to actually buy one of those. But I think it's coming because I'm going to start doing more videos, I feel like, on my own. Because I pay a videographer to do most of my stuff a lot, but it's like $300 when I'm paying them for videos. So if you can do this, you're going to save yourself a lot of money down the road anyway. But yeah, the gimbal is huge for stabilizing. I have a friend that does this, and she does all her like video tours in the house, and it looks like somebody is doing it for her, but it's actually her, which is pretty cool. She's even interviewed business owners. She went to like a local ice cream shop and used her gimbal, and it was like their experience, her family's experience at this local ice cream shop. And it looked like somebody else did the video, but it was with her gimbal. I think the gimbal is a huge investment. If you're going to do any kind of video, that's why I would start there.
I mean, really, when it comes down to it, you know, you're looking at about 250 bucks to have really good, high quality video.
Right.
The gimbal, the case, and the lens. Those three things I think are important. The microphone, I think it's important. It's an extra $100. So there's 350. However, you got to look at it this way. It's an investment in your business. Video is huge nowadays, especially, it just is. I mean, if you're not doing video, Lesley and I have done a lot of research on it. You're missing out on a huge portion of the people that are seeing you. So for $250, your basic setup. For $350, you've got everything you need plus good audio. I will say this is a much easier gimbal to use than this great big thing. Okay.
Yeah, I have that big one.
Do you have this one?
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah, it's just like an entry level. It's a little funky to use, you know, a little
yeah,
learning curve.
it works, but it's just too big. This thing
Yeah.
is so much better. And once you guys get one of these, you're gonna love it, and you're gonna want to use it all the time for just about everything.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're hiring a videographer, Christina, what are you
Yeah.
getting for $300?
A fully edited video that is also cut up for formatting on Instagram, IGTV, which is different than using it on Facebook, because I just don't want to sit there and do all the editing because it's not where I need to spend my time. My husband does use a program called Premiere Pro if you're really good. And that is, there's a cost to use it, but if you're good, you can edit videos through that. And so he can edit now my videos that I use from the gimbal. He can use Premiere Pro to edit our videos. But when I'm paying a videographer, they are doing it all for me. And then I'm telling them how I want to cut things up, because if you are going to post something, posting directly your videos directly to like Instagram via, you have to, you know what I mean? Like you only get like 60 seconds. You have to go through the IGTV app and post, and it has to be at least whatever, so many minutes long. Like, and the formatting is different. And I don't understand that part because I'm not a video editor. So paying a video editor to do that for me is nice. Also, like if I have a big event, like I had a charity event last month, I had a videographer come and just take a ton of footage and they pieced it together for me. Like stuff like that. I feel like I want somebody to come and get footage of me in the community, because it just shows, again, that I am involved. It's always good to have way more content than not enough, you know, to pull from. And I might not use it, but it's always good to have, because you can even break that up. You can make ads off of that, like 60-second clips. You can, I mean, there's so much you can do with video content. And David's right. Like the research has shown, if you are not doing video, I would preface to say in the next 1 to 3 years, that is where everything is going and moving. And I feel like especially real estate agents that are not doing this are really going to be sadly left behind, because the consumer is online now more than ever. And even after COVID-19 is done, there will be a lot of businesses that will continue to do business this way, and they'll be online. I just feel like our whole society is changing. It's an interesting time to be in real estate or be in a service-based business and not have your business online. I'll give you a case study. Nothing even to do with real estate. My husband and his ad agency got a carpet cleaning and air duct cleaning business, and they were never posting stuff. And my husband was like, let me just post some stuff. He was doing some sort of air duct cleaning that kills like the coronavirus out of the filter. So he did a video and posted about that. That guy has gotten so much business over the last 3 weeks, more than he ever has from his business. Like it's crazy. And he wrote my husband like a glaring review on Facebook because he's so excited. But he doesn't know how to do that. You know, like he's in his 50s, and he said he just didn't know how to do any of this stuff, and he'd never used it in his business. But he had a Facebook business page. But there's no point if you're not going to use it. You know, there's no point in having it just there, because people are not going to just show up. You have to show them how to do that. So that is the way that you do that. I'm not a Facebook ads expert. I don't want to know that, but I will, you know, have somebody else do that. I think it's very effective.
So before we take off, here's a couple of tips for people. Once you get all of your equipment, Lesley did some research, and when you're doing a live video content, you want it vertical like this. Okay. Anytime it's live, you want it vertical. If you're going through a video tour, you do it this way, because you're going to go live. Live is better than a recorded video. You get way more clicks, way more views if you do a live video. The video quality won't be as good, but it's the views that you're looking for. And it's still good. It's just the difference between 720p and 1080p, you know,
Yeah.
which is fine.
I feel like
But
it's hit or miss depending on
yeah,
where you are and your signal, and I don't know.
that's for sure. Yep. Yeah, we found that out. We had to go do a video tour up in Eureka, which is about an hour east of here, and it's a small town, like 2,000 people, and
Mhm.
oh yeah, the video quality was terrible. But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But vertical, when you're doing live videos, now you turn it this way, you get a landscape. These are great for pictures. So
Mhm.
there's still a lot of agents out there that are taking their own pictures. You probably shouldn't. You probably need to go ahead and hire a photographer for 120 bucks.
There is no probably about it.
No, there's no probably ever.
You're 100% right. And make sure that the toilet seats are down.
Number
you
one,
hire a
photos
video,
are
you need
everything.
to hire a photographer. But if you just don't have the cash, okay, you can use this and it will produce great wide angle pictures. However, you need to buy a tripod for it or use your Mobile 3 with a tripod because you want it nice and stable. You want it level. And again, Leslie's right. You need to hire someone to do it. Let's face it, it's $100,000 listing. You're going to make $3,000 on it. You can afford to spend 125 bucks for a photographer.
It's the same thing as hiring somebody to do your branding photographer versus my teenager to do it for me. Like the quality is going to be different. I'm sorry, I may get the images and my face on there, but the story isn't going to be told the same way. The way that they move the camera and a professional does that, there's an art to it. And you know what I mean? Just like I wouldn't go into somebody else's business telling them how to run it, I wouldn't want somebody to do that to me.
Yeah.
Well, but I look at it like this too. That is, you know, as much as you're sitting here talking about brand on Facebook or on social media, those pictures reflect our brand.
Yep.
So to me, it's advertising not only that house, but it's advertising to future sellers that this is what our product looks like instead of, you know, really crappy. I've seen some real doozies lately. I've seen several of them even in MLS that the photos are sideways. They didn't even straighten them out the right way. And if that's the image that you're projecting, you might as well don't even waste your time worrying about what you're doing on social media because it still boils down to your results and what you're wanting your business to look like. So to me, it all ties together in that professional image from what you're doing on social media, what you're doing on MLS, what you're doing in the community. I mean, it all ties together. It's all cohesive.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And one thing I think that a lot of people can do also if they are trying to save money is I've used my lender. My lender has a studio and they have video. My lender actually that I work with now just came out and said they do free video tours of all my listings. So especially right now, they're trying to get creative to get your business. Use the lender. I have lenders that will pay $500 to $1,000 a month for ad spend on stuff if I wanted them to. I personally like my lenders to like support my local events that I do, like happy hours and stuff. That's how I use them. But then I film that stuff. It's footage. But the lenders will help you. A lot of them have green screens and studios built into their offices. And that's free. If you're using them as a lender, they're going to let you use it. Now that stuff has to be co-branded because of RESPA and laws, but it's still, you know, free video. So if you don't have the cash, work with a lender that will help you get creative, that understands the power of using video and social media. Yeah.
Does anybody have any other questions before we wrap this up? Because we have to go meet with a photographer at a listing that we've got. That's our next pit stop.
If anybody has any other questions, they can reach out to me. I put my Instagram and my Facebook here. Come follow me. I'd be happy to help, you know, if you have questions about anything specifically, but it's all trial and error over the last 5 years. But if you start showing up and you start doing these things, I promise you, your business will increase tenfold. And it will organically, you know, you'll start positioning yourself to become that digital mayor in your town.
And I think too, something that's been really big for me, you know, since we've joined the company that we're with is finding people that you click with. I mean, Christina and I didn't even know each other. And we came across each other on Facebook and just created like an instant bond. And, you know, when she was having some down and out, it was like, all right, call me. We're going to have a discussion. We're going to walk you off the ledge. But it's a matter of creating those bonds. And it's a matter of finding who you want to have for allies in this business. And also who you're wanting to help you thrust your business to the place that you want it to be. Because I can even think of somebody that was local, and I won't mention any names, but to me, they had a really big online presence. And I told David, I said, that's my goal. This is how many followers they have, and this is how many I'm going to get. And so I use it just, you know, if nothing else, just for motivation for me. I know like next week we have Trish Caballero coming on from our Miami market, and she's going to talk about how to position yourself in the luxury market, how to increase your sales prices. And, you know, Christina and I were down in Mexico, and Trish was down in Mexico. I think I spent almost an entire day. Her and I just sat and like hashed it out, like masterminding. David's like, I'm headed to the pool. I'm going to get a beer. You know, but her and I just really went at it. And, you know, we have these crazy wristbands. If anybody's seen my wristband, that was from our Mexico trip. And to me, it's just, it's like tying that string around your finger to remind you of what your goal is. Her and I set a specific goal, and we're wearing these ugly ass wristbands until we hit our goal. So it's still here, Trish. I got it. And I still haven't hit the goal. We're there. We're getting real close. But anyway, so next week we're going to have her on. Christina, I always appreciate anything that you put out. You have amazing content. I value our friendship. If anybody has any business to send to St. Louis, there's your gal. She's absolutely wonderful.
And referrals are huge with that too.
I hope everybody has an awesome week, and we will see you same place, different link next week.
Thank you so much for having me.